Hi, everybody. We haven't done one of these in a long time, but welcome to Nighttime with Nina. I thought it would be a good idea to share a story this week. A lot of you probably heard about or watched with your families the results of the Derek Chauvin trial this week. And I know that a lot of people are feeling all sorts of things. They're probably feeling some relief, probably feeling some excitement, some joy, but probably also feeling like we know this is just the beginning. This is a really great, wonderful, momentous occasion in our city, but there's lots more work still to be done. And one of the things that I really want to help kids with is to not feel powerless, but to feel empowered. And I was really excited that one of our church members told me about a story that somebody she knows wrote. And the story is called Story Tells a Story about Organizing. And you might be like, what does that mean? Like organizing, like putting things together that look the same or are the same color? Not that kind of organizing. It's organizing groups of people to make a change in the world. So I'm going to share this story called Story Tells a Story About Organizing that can help maybe give you some ideas about what you want to do next to make the world a better place. Here we go. George and his big sister Linda are going to the barber shop with Dad. It's been a long time since they could visit. Linda's excited and George can't keep still. The barber shop looks a lot different today. The change made George not want to stay. Linda, look, the windows are covered, George said with his eyes real big. Linda doesn't want George to worry. Don't worry, George, it's all right. I bet the inside will look just right, Linda said and holds his hands. George's eyes don't look so big anymore. Linda was right. Inside the barbershop, things looked the same. George even saw a cool picture frame. Look, my name is there on that wall, says George, pointing to the sign that reads, Justice for George. Dad nods and says, That's right, son. That sign there is special. It's there to show this place is organizing for justice. Do you two remember what that means? I do. It means standing up for what is fair, Linda says excitedly. Dad looks at Linda and smiles. That's right, kiddo. This place has been organizing for a long time. It's really important. George was still confused about the word organizing. He looks at Linda and says, I don't get it, Linda. What does organizing look like? All of a sudden, someone yells, Hey, over here. I bet I can explain it crystal clear. George and Linda look up and see a painting talking to them. Wow, that painting is alive, Linda says with great surprise. Hi, my name's Story, the painting says with a smile. You're just a painting. What could you know? George doesn't think Story has anything cool to show them. Story nods and says, I may be a painting, but I know many spots where people have been organizing around the clock. Will you show us, please, Linda begs? Story smiles at the siblings and nods. All of a sudden, something magical happens and the walls start to spin. Linda and George know an adventure is coming. Are we still in a barbershop? Linda asks quietly. Yes, but we traveled back in time, dear. You see, 1860 is the year, Story whispers. But how did they organize? George asks. We're so far in the past. Not every black person used to be able to live freely. The people in this barbershop organized to help black people escape to freedom discreetly, Story says to the siblings, and discreetly means like in secret or safely and kind of hidden. Story really does know what organizing looks like. Let's look at more organizing, Story says, and everything starts spinning again. How exciting! Linda and George look all around. It looks really cool. Wow, there's so many people here, George says with his eyes wide once again. Welcome to 1920. In this shop, people gave haircuts for free, Story says. Is that how they organized? Asked Linda. Sure is. Not everyone had money for a trim. So this shop organized by giving free haircuts to her, them, and him. George smiles and Linda says, I like this very much. Now let's look at more organizing, Story says, and everything starts spinning again. I wonder what we're going to see next. Welcome, my friends, to 1960, where the city here sure is busy, Story says with a wink. How are they organizing here? Asks George. The good folks here are all going to march. In just a moment, it all will start, Story says, then gives Linda and George signs. George says, power to my people, and Linda says, let our children roar. Can we join too? The siblings ask with excitement. That's right, my friend. We've seen others organize again and again. Now it's our turn to join it all. We'll stand for justice and we'll stand tall. That's what these people are marching for, and we can join them with signs galore, Story shouts. Standing hand in hand, they are ready to see what organizing can really be. Story's holding a sign that says justice and equality. The other signs say fight for your rights. Segregated schools must stop now. Equal rights for all. I am a man. Stop racism. Freedom. End police brutality now. Walking down the street with their signs held high, Linda says, I feel proud of my people and loved in this crowd. George nods. Linda, dear, I'm so glad you feel proud. Now I want to show you other kids in the crowd, Story says. And then pulls out a picture with no color. This is Rosemary Freeman, Horace Huntley, and Warren Tucker, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Photo courtesy of the University of Minnesota Archives. These young people know how to organize too. They stand for justice through and through, says Story. Okay, Story, but what about now? Are there kids still marching? Are we allowed? Asks George. Oh, here's a photo courtesy of Marika Pfefferkorn personal collection. Some kids in there, Black Lives Matter, We Still Can't Breathe, and kids at the Capitol. Story pulls out another picture and says, this one's new. It has lots of color and kids like you. Kids are still organizing and they have lots to say. When we go back, I hope you share what you learned today, Story says. We're leaving now? Linda asks sadly. Yes, this adventure is over, but don't worry, friend. Your story doesn't end here. It has yet to begin, Story answers. Then everything starts spinning one last time. The kids return to the barber shop. Dad sees them and asks, where have you been? Oh, Dad, we've been on an adventure. We learned about organizing and saw all kinds of strong people, George said. That sounds great, kiddo. How about telling the whole shop what you saw, Dad says with a smile. While the siblings are getting their hair done, they explain organizing to everyone. Linda says proudly, we saw folks organizing in big and small crowds. Even kids like us can do organizing. Then George stands up and asks, Mr. Barber, is there organizing here we can do? Mr. Barber nods and says, oh yes, that's something we'd love to see. It's great you're standing up for your community. How about tomorrow we do something fun? We'll give free haircuts for everyone. Linda and George were proud to know that they had the power to organize. And I don't know if you can see Story's poster, but it says educate, love, and empower. Linda and George looked at Story. Thank you, friend, for this most amazing day. I can't wait to see what you kids grow up to do. Good luck with organizing. Good luck to you, Story says with a farewell wink. The end. And this says, follow along with Story as he takes siblings Linda and George on a journey through space and time to see community organizing in Black-owned barbershops across Minnesota. Learn with Linda and George as they discover what organizing for justice is all about. Join the adventure and see how kids like you can make a powerful difference in the world. Story Tells a Story About Organizing is my response to the murder of Mr. George Floyd on May 25th, 2020. Mentored by the facilitators of the youth-led response to the murder of George Floyd cohort and motivated by my revolutionary peers, this first book was made possible by Renee Boney-Jett, the author. And there's the author right there. So the way that she dealt with something that was really stressful for her, she actually wrote this book. And the kids in here learned that organizing can look like helping people get things that they need. For example, the free haircuts, helping people get out of situations that are dangerous for them. In this story, it was about escaping slavery. But in your school, maybe that looks like standing up against somebody who's saying something racist or hurtful or bullying. It also looked like in the 60s and again in the 2020s, getting out and protesting and marching. There are lots of things that we can still do, and there's lots of work that's still to be done. I'm reading this to you on Wednesday, the day after the first trial, the Derek Chauvin trial. The results were read, and it's really exciting that it feels like there is some accountability and it feels like there's some justice for George Floyd's family, but we still have so much work to do. And so I just wanted to read this story and remind you that there's lots to be done and lots that we can do. And there are lots of adults like me and like your parents and like other people at Plymouth Church who want to help you figure out how to organize and get involved and make the world a better place. So thank you guys, and I will see you again soon for another Nighttime with Nina, although I'm recording this in the day, so maybe we'll call it Daytime with Nina. Talk to you later, and good night.